Well, everybody, how are we? We are at an undisclosed location with Tanco, and we have joined forces today with Kevin and Michael. We're looking at something completely different for these guys, so I'm going to bounce straight over to you, Michael. Explain to us what is happening, and then I think Kevin's going to talk to us a little bit about the product, if I've got that right.
Yep, that's fine. So we're here today doing some evaluations on one of our sets of trail mowers. So this particular unit here is has a cutting width of 33 feet. So the front unit is a 7-disc bed and the two rears are 9 discs. So it's 33 feet in total.
But this is not what you guys are known for.
No, so Tanco is 55 years on the go. So they would have made a range of very diverse products back in the day. Tanco would have been very well known for the front loader. And then in more recent years, it's the bale wrappers and the bale shear. So we have a full range of bale wrappers and we export to over 50 countries worldwide. So wherever there is bale wrapping done in the world, there are Tanco bale wrappers.
Bouncing over to you, Kevin, we don't see you at all the shows, but there's maybe a reason for that. For here, you've been in the field in this case 240 with these mowers. So,
yeah.
What's your role then?
So I suppose I carry out all the product demonstrations and drive the tractor basically. You know, we go to each potential customer and see what they will mow a bit with them and let them sit up for a while and mow away themselves and see what they think of it. Like, so far we started off down in Cork, we've been everywhere in between. We're in Donegal today, we've been through the east and the west, so we've covered a good bit of ground now, but we've still a bit to go yet. So,
Well, let's cut the chase at this point, because we need to talk about what we're looking at, and that's what I'm going to come in and say. What are we looking at? Because this is not a conventional set of butterflies as we would see here in Ireland.
No, this isn't your typical setup. So I suppose, as you can see, it runs on its own chassis. The main reasons for that is it takes your big stress off the back of the tractor. Your height when you're travelling on the road is way lower the way they fold up. With the steering axle as well, it follows you very well on the road. So you can nearly forget about the back mower and just concentrate on your front mower. And once you get that in a gateway or whatever, your back mower is going to follow it. So I suppose starting off with components, we use all Comer beds and drive lines and that kind of thing, so they're well proven from that side. Conditioners, we use a semi-swing V-shaped steel tine and a hard ox hanger, so it proves well there on heavy and light grass. Our suspension setup then is a hydro pneumatic setup, so we have a pair of accumulators each side, and you can charge it with just one single hose for charging, 2 taps to charge the accumulators, so you can vary or have them heavy or light on the ground. I suppose with that then your ground compaction is significantly less, especially on the headlands when you lift the mowers. You're having this big weight coming on the back wheels of the tractor and marking your ground like so. We also have a fast slow steer system or setup on our mowers, so when the mowers are lifted it just moves the pivot point out a little bit and slows down the reaction for when you're I suppose reversing in the field, and when you float the mowers to drop and start cutting again, it pulls it back in a little bit closer, so it's a bit more sensitive for your turns and that kind of thing. So you can also use it to fish in and out of gap, or tight gateway like so.
Well, look, as we've seen here today, and let's be honest, we're in a lovely big flat field. We're actually in a tidal field, have I got that?
Yeah, we're led
right?
to believe one end of it is the tide can come in on it, so
better get cutting before it gets too late.
What you're saying is hurry up with this interview.
yeah.
we can end up leaving a point, we could be swimming home.
Get the wellies, yeah.
But this is some of the famous ground in and around Donegal that is reclaimed, isn't that pretty much?
Yes, it is, yeah. This has all been reclaimed from the sea 170 years ago or thereabouts.
And so at this stage then, these mowers are almost the full production mower. It's, I suppose, pre-production's maybe not just the right word to do, because they are mowers that you've been letting customers see to hit the market with in 2021. Have I got that sort of right?
Yeah. So we'll have for sale in for next season here in Ireland, and this machine here is pretty much what we'll have on the production machines.
And is there just one that you can buy, or is there configurations?
On the front mower there's the one version of it, and then the rear mowers you can either have a 30 foot or the 33.
So that's on a 240 case.
Yeah.
I'm assuming standard.
Yes.
Standard, yeah.
Any problem?
No. We've had it in a whole variation of ground. We've had it up on hills, flat ground like this, heavy crops, light crops. We had it on a 175 tractor last year, boosting to 200 horsepower. But 30-foot machines, we've had them down to 180, 200 horsepower tractors, all the way up to almost touching 400 horsepower for some of the test units on with a 33-foot cutting width.
Now, a typical butterfly mower isn't great going across a hill either.
Yes.
If it start, you don't slide very much till you miss a bit.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so
Kel?
you can come across a fair cast like without it missing anything. There's times when it will start to slip a little bit, it'll miss a stripe. But what I do is, you go to lift the mowers ever so slightly, and it puts a little bit more weight on the wheels and gives it a bit of traction to keep it in its spot, like, and until you get past the hill, like so.
But it's not all on those two wheels then. There must be some weight then through the hitch onto the back of the tractor.
Yeah, so there's about 1,200 kilos on the wheels and 1,600 kilos on the lift arms, yeah.
Oh, it's considerably less than a full.
Oh,
set.
yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Well, you'd notice it in the tractor too, like when it's not.
Then obviously straight out drive.
Yeah. Straight out and straight down, through the T gearbox, and it's a direct drive down to the bed and a belt-driven conditioner in with 3 belts, 3 single belts and the conditioner in. So it's running at about 850 RPM there.
And then your front mower.
Yeah.
Your front mower, the flotation system's been fully designed by yourselves,
Yeah.
I
Yes,
believe.
fully in-house.
Yeah. So it's a full in-house design. I suppose the biggest feature of it is that it runs on a track. Basically, it's part of a circle. So the interior puts the pivot point of the bed beneath ground level when you're mowing. So it follows the ground. You know, it can rise and fall over nearly any hills and hollows. We've been through some. We even went into a golf course down near Carlow. 60 acres in it, and we mowed up across the tee boxes and everything is coated perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
And the flotation, I think, Michael, you were saying to me earlier on, maybe just, I know 17 degrees and 19 degrees was mentioned, but I just can't remember what way round.
17 side to side and 19 forward to back. Yeah.
So there's a lot of movement there, and I suppose we better say it, even though it's pretty obvious, it's a pull type system.
It's a pull type system, yeah. And even the overall travel of the mower, you know, is about 850 millimeters, like up and down of what it can follow the ground, like so.
Yeah.
Would you recommend more horsepower or less horsepower, or do you think this tractor's, you know, just nice? I suppose, what's that, 240? That's going to give you a little bit more, isn't it?
255, yeah.
Is there a maximum level, or, you know?
No, well, you could probably manage with a little bit less there. Anywhere over 240 for the 33 foot, you'll be fine. Obviously, the more power you have, the more comfort you have. You can, you know, when you meet the hill, you can push it on, keep going at the same speed, like. But you've no issue running it with 230, 240 horsepower with the 33 foot model, and back as far as 200 or even slightly less if you want to. If you're working, all depends on the ground you're working in and that kind of thing. So.
And how does it work? Is it complicated if you use a cab full of computers and monitors to try and...
Well, this version here is the hydraulic version. So for the rear unit, there's 4 pipes, so 2 spools. They control your up and down and the wings folding in and back. And then in the cab, there's just a simple switch box to change over to each side for doing the short work.
So that's pretty simple then.
Yeah, it is,
basic as you could get. Yeah.
There is development work ongoing on an Isobus version as well.
Yep, some people want their Isobus and that, but it's not necessary, is what you're saying.
No, it's not necessary, no.
No, you could put that on any tractor,
Any tractor, and make it as easy to operate or as complicated as you want. With a lot of modern tractors have their computer screens, you can put it in the joysticks easily. Or old tractors, if someone's using an older tractor, they're using an older tractor for a reason. They like to pull their levers and move their, so it's...
It'll work on them all,
Well, guys, thanks very much for inviting us down to get a wee look at the mower. It's been interesting. I think that the most interesting bit was when you were going perfectly well and everything looked really rosy, and next thing we just seen water. We were sort of going, does that mean the tide's coming in? Look, it's getting sloshy below my feet now. It literally is. Yeah. The tide's coming in. So we maybe I can't stand in the one spot too long.
It's a good test.
Look, guys, and look, as I say, I know the plan was to get down to us at HQ and maybe spend a bit of time ourselves with you guys on the moor, but the weather has started running away with us, and so it was nice of you to invite us down here to get a wee look at it, and maybe next year.
Yeah, no,
maybe next year your lorry will lose a set somewhere around about Ballymena.
No problem there.
Lovely, and still need to get a wee look at one of those wrappers. I think we could have a bit of fun with one of those someday.
We'll have that organised.
Lovely. Thanks very much, guys.
No problem. Our pleasure. Thank you very much.